We've got something special going on today. We're going to be doing a curry straight off the Weber charcoal grill. And now I'm going to walk you through it. We're going to do a nice Nepalese style curry. So stay tuned guys, this one's going to be good. Alright, so now the onions are starting to brown. What we're going to do, sprinkle in some cumin seeds, probably about 3 teaspoons, and they're going to cook in the oil, and they're going to cook up with the onions. And then once they get a bit darker, we're going to add in the ginger and the chilli. Okay, so those onions are starting to get a bit more colour on them. The cumin seeds are nice and fragrant. We're going to drop in some of the chilli. So these are Thai chilies. Probably, well, there's two Thai chilies in here. And we've got about 2 tablespoons of fresh ginger, just roughly chopped. Doesn't have to be fine. Adds a bit more texture to the dish afterwards. So what I'm doing here, I've just pulled them off the heat slightly. So little tip, I mean most of you seasoned barbecue professionals already know this, but for those who don't, little tip, whenever you're cooking on a charcoal grill or even a gas grill, you want to have your charcoal on one side and then a bit of space with nothing on the other side. If it starts getting a bit too hot, what you can do is just move your food off the direct heat and just have it off to the side. That allows you to get a bit of time to sort everything out if you're getting flare-ups and stuff like that. It also works if you're cooking with any kind of pots or pans on the barbecue. Okay, I'm going in with the garlic. The heat's reduced slightly in the pan, so we're going to put the garlic in. We want a bit less heat in the pan with the garlic because, as we know, garlic's fairly delicate, so you don't want to burn it. If you burn it, it starts going bitter. If you just brown it, it's nice and sweet. So we want to make sure it's nice and brown, so you don't want the pan too hot because it'll cook and burn too quick. And then what we've done with the garlic here, we've sliced it instead of kind of crushing it or mashing it. Basically the reason why we've done that is it has more surface area, so as you're cooking it in the oil, the garlic will kind of brown up on the edges, and that's where you'll get that sweetness. Okay, so we've got the onions browning, caramelizing up, cumin seeds nice and fragrant, we've got the chilli in there, we've got the ginger in there, the garlic is now browning up quite nicely. We've just moved it back onto the heat a bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cinnamon sticks in, and then I'm going to put a bit of ghee in there as well, a bit of clarified butter. Now don't worry, I know you're probably thinking there's already enough oil in there already, but don't worry about that. That's all part of the flavour. We're going to let this cook up for a little bit, and then I'm going to put in some coriander stalks and some curry leaves and a bit of fenugreek leaves, and then we're going to put the lid on, take it off the heat, put the lid on and just let it simmer. We pulled it away from the heat. Curry leaves are going in, about a tablespoon, teaspoon of fenugreek, and then we've got these stalks here, coriander stalks. Alright, now we're going to put the lid on. I'm going to let that simmer, just let that cook for a few minutes, and then we'll add some spices. So we've let that sit just off the heat, or off the indirect heat. Let it sit for probably about 10 minutes or so. Let's have a look. So there you go. Got some amazing colour. All those flavours now come together. Got that caramelised garlic in there, those caramelised onions. Wish you could smell this because it smells absolutely delicious. So what we're going to do now, I'm just going to put it back over the heat, just get that pan a bit hotter. Then we're going to go in with our spices. So we've got a nice spice blend that we made up just earlier, and we're going to put that in, get that cooking in the oil. So the heat's picked up in the pan. What we're going to do, we're going to go in with our spice blend that we made up before. So you've got cumin, coriander, turmeric, garam masala powder in there, a bit of chili powder and some curry powder. Around about 2 teaspoons of each, I would say. What we're going to do, we're going to let that just infuse in that oil and just kind of sizzle a little bit. What I'll do is it'll wake up all those spices and just get everything going. So all them spices are in there. What we're going to do now, put about a cup of chicken stock in. That's going to deglaze the pan, get all those amazing flavours off the bottom. And then we're going to add in our tomatoes. So we've got tin tomatoes here, about 28-ounce tin. I'm going to put those in, mix this together. And then what I want to do now, I'm going to take this off the heat, or the indirect heat, just leave it to one side, and I'm going to prepare the chicken. Okay, so I've taken the sauce off, and that's just kind of simmering a little bit, and I've got the chicken on here now. This is basically tandoori chicken. So I've marinated it in some spices, some of our tandoori rub, and I'm just going to char it up a little bit, just kind of get it cooked slightly on the outside, just get some of that charredness on there, and then we're going to add it to the sauce. What that's going to do is that's just going to add so much more depth and flavour into the sauce. So this chicken's charring up nicely. We don't want to go crazy with it like we normally would with tandoori, but we just want it just enough, just what we've got here, just these little charred bits. So now that's looking pretty good. So the chicken's in. I'm just going to mix that up a little bit, let it kind of simmer, and then we're going to add a few more ingredients after that. We've got some weather blowing in. Can't really see the mountains. It is trying to snow as well, believe it or not. Can't be doing with this snow anymore. Let's have a look at this. Never mind those empty beer cans. Let's see what's going down. So there you have it. We're almost there. This curry is smelling absolutely delicious. So now this curry's bubbling away nicely. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit it with a bit of lemon juice, probably about a tablespoon. I would normally use fresh lemon, but convenience calls. And I'm also going to go in with probably half a can of coconut milk, and we're going to mix that together. So now we've gone in there with the coconut milk. What that's going to do is it's just going to change it up a little bit. It's going to change the flavour slightly. It's going to add some sweetness to the curry, and it's also going to mellow out those spices. So if you're kind of finding it a little bit too hot, the coconut milk will just kind of mellow those spices out, and it'll also add a nice texture to the curry as well. It'll kind of create a bit of a silky sort of texture to the sauce. And then something I just want to add as well, as I've been cooking this curry, I have been tasting it. So I know I've not really demonstrated that on the videos, but I have been tasting this curry, so every so often just dip a spoon in there, have a taste, make sure that it's to your liking. I never really divulge too much information on sort of salt and pepper and seasoning, because everyone's tastes are different. So kind of as you're cooking, taste it and adjust the seasoning to how you like it, and even adjust the spice as well. You know, if you're finding it a little on the mild side, add a bit more chili powder. If you're finding it on a little bit more of the hot side, you can kind of dilute it a little bit with that coconut milk. So the lid's going on, and we're going to just move that away from the direct heat again, and we're going to let that simmer for probably about 25-30 minutes, checking on it regularly. Just with it being on a charcoal barbecue, you just want to make sure nothing's sticking or catching. It's been about 40 minutes. We're looking Pretty steady under there. I have been checking this regularly as well, just so you know. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is one delicious looking curry. And it smells absolutely delicious, it's looking delicious. This is now done. What I am going to do, just to finish it off, I'm going to put some chopped coriander over the top, or cilantro for you Canadian folk, and I'm going to leave that to simmer for probably another just maybe 5 to 10 minutes, just on low. I'm going to pull it away from the heat and just leave it in that cast iron pot. The beauty with the cast iron is it really holds that heat and it's quite even, so I can move it away from the direct heat and it'll keep simmering, which is nice. So thanks a lot, guys.